Drug references in pop culture, it's hardly a new idea. The Beatles' Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds was widely thought to stand for LSD, something John Lennon denied. But almost 50 years later, today's music sounds a little bit different. Molly. It's the code word for MDMA, better known as ecstasy. It's a name the Arkansas Crime Lab have taken notice of.
Anytime we ever hear about something new in a song or on a video or showing up on YouTube all the time, we immediately begin to investigate it because we need to be prepared for seeing that in the crime lab.
And it's certainly been showing up in pop culture. Not only Miley, but Kanye West too. And Rihanna. Palms rise to the universe as we moonshine and Mali. 2 Chainz.
Got your girl on Molly and we smoking loud and drinking.
And Nicki Minaj. Hardly the ideal role models, but with at least 22 different popular songs this year containing references to Molly, it's no wonder parents want to know what their kids are listening to. Last year, the Arkansas Crime Lab had just 25 cases of confirmed MDMA. This year, it's already up to 42 cases, approaching double.
We've seen more Molly in the last 12 months than we saw in the 12 months before that.
The scientists at the Arkansas Crime Lab have seen a big increase in what they call synthetic drugs. And in the digital age, the drug dealer's name ends in .com. This year, an online black market website, Silk Road, best known for anonymous drug trafficking, was shuttered as the DEA and other law enforcement try to keep up with the greatest technological minds to date. Drug busts have now gone digital.
These are really powerful supply generators for all of these new designer drugs and cathinones and research chemicals. So you're no longer prohibited by who you know. If you can get on the internet, you could probably get access to some of these drugs, and that's what makes them really dangerous.
We went to the DEA in Arkansas, where Bill Bryant showed us what they're seeing with Molly. They have at least half a dozen open cases right now.
Here in Arkansas, it was late 2011 is when we opened one of our first cases, when we started hearing the term Molly.
Though hundreds of drugs are being marketed as Molly, he says most people don't actually know what they're getting inside that capsule.
What they don't realize is a majority of the time, these drugs do not contain MDMA. They can contain other drugs, what we call cathinones, like bath salts.
Taking synthetic drugs can cause a sense of euphoria, but at the same time, body temperature, blood pressure, and heart rates can rise to deadly rates. Last year, the Synthetic Drug Prevention Act was signed into law by President Obama in an attempt to keep up with these new drugs.
Which we now have 26 of these synthetic drugs that are now illegal. And of course the traffickers try to change the molecules or whatever, but under federal law we have what's called the Controlled Substance Analog Act. And kind of just in basic terms, there's certain prongs you've got to meet, but if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, you know, if we meet that criteria, then even if that's not controlled, but it's similar to and it meets other criteria, then we're able to prosecute them in federal court.
Drug producers are furiously working to change molecules to stay ahead of authorities. And the federal government has been forced to cope with technology, looking for the newest online black market. And with anonymous currency Bitcoin gaining traction online, the digital drug market will only be tougher to enforce. But enforcement aside, Harrison says this generation of young people are experimenting with drugs their parents never encountered.
Kids are experimenting with things that no one has ever known what they would do to you before. And we're running a human experiment right now on this generation of people who are trying all these new research chemicals.